Артур, good morning.
Да, здравствуйте. Я еще в пути, я подъезжаю.
Okay. Okay. Who else is on our VR session remotely?
We'll check in a second when I set it up. See who logged in. We've got 45 minutes. But we're already streaming, so theoretically someone could find you on YouTube and they can see you now and hear you. I think. No. Okay, that's working.
Okay, we are missing Ricardo, both Ricardos actually. Okay, Paul Robertson replied that he is coming, but he apparently was not aware of the time. Oh, he said he will be here at 8. So. And where is your press conference? The media people?
They'll be in VR.
Oh. Then
I gotta send out the email with
I do
the
not know who they are.
VR link.
Cannot connect to them. So
No, it's okay.
it was so much enthusiasm yesterday, but today everybody wants to sleep, I guess. Is Rosario still there? No?
I was trying the food printer for cappuccino. They print the logo inside the cappuccino.
You wanted to print cappuccino on a 3D printer?
No, the 3D printer put the logo, a logo you want, in the top of cappuccino. But it didn't work so very good. Yes, like a cartridge that you use for the printer, but this is made by coffee and put the logo.
Oh no.
And I wanted to print Microsoft Reactor, but
There's actually a coffee printer. I mean, there's actually one over there.
yes, but the subscription is done. I was speaking with one of the people that work inside the Microsoft Reactor because it was not so popular inside the people that work.
The coffee?
No, the printer for cappuccino. And it's good that they start to work at 7 and they finish at 4 in Microsoft campus.
They started at 7 on our request.
Yeah, for developers though.
They are happy to finish at 4. In this way, you have the rest of the afternoon with your family.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's summer. I guess this must be summer schedule.
No, it's also in the winter the same schedule because he told me that the most of the meeting are between 8 and 8:30. And this place, David, is used for conference.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to concentrate on our coming event. So we have this press conference,
Okay.
right? With media participating remotely. Then who is participating from here? Well, we have Moscow, of course, remotely, and then I guess I can be as a panelist if nobody else is willing. Well, I was supposed to be actually. Paul Robertson is coming.
Did you speak with him?
I sent a message and he was not even aware that the timing is 8 a.m. So now he knows and he will be here at 8.
Okay.
But who else? You, Rosario, right?
Yes, I'm here.
So 3 would be enough, I guess. Or David? I don't know. David would be provided technical support, I guess.
Wherever you guys want.
as a panelist for the press conference?
Oh, here we go. Say again?
Would you be a panelist for the press conference, or you would be providing technical support?
Or
both?
both.
Both of them, you are smart.
Yes.
No?
So we
I
have
don't know.
four panelists here. That's
My
more
blood caffeine level is too low to be smart.
than- Bring him a cup of coffee.
If you want, I will bring you.
No, it's okay.
No, I was not joking. You look smart and.
Look smart.
Look
smart.
in the good sense. Look.
He looks
Okay.
so nice and polite. I would
And also, I like
imagine
this.
that
This
is
is
the military.
typical of. I spent 1 year of my PhD
Yeah.
here in Atlanta, Georgia Tech, with Professor Arki, almost 20 years ago. Many professors used to have this.
So nobody smiles when you mention the name of Professor Arkin.
No, I know, because I was not. He was not a good person
Yeah.
from my point of view,
From my experience too, by the way.
because he decided to work with the lethal robot because he loves too much money. And after he published the book Lethal Robot, nobody wanted to work with him.
Sacrifice a couple of books for the participants of those that
But me, I worked with him in 2000, and that period was quite famous.
Okay. There we go.
You know, I heard recently a prophecy of Vanga on Russian TV.
Right.
Yes, and she predicted that people will be not seen but walking. She said there is something strange with the people. They don't see but they walk. And they thought immediately, that must be VR.
Another strange things connected with mobile phone. There was a joke in the website. The logo of Facebook is obtained by the people that stay like this with the mobile phone.
Really?
Because if you think that is F, but people
Ah.
stay all the time. I don't know, but in Italy, the young generation, I work at the university and they teach, they stay all the time like this.
Not just Italy, I think. Everywhere.
Ah.
I wonder.
And there is nobody there yet?
Attention.
It's okay. No problem.
So which wife is this? Is this the old wife or new? Or
It's the one that's like 2 years old.
I see.
I think that when we will buy this, I will buy also a screen like this. It could be useful.
This is probably more expensive.
Depends on if it's touch or not.
I use a projector. It's good for my purpose.
Yeah.
So streaming, and we need to copy and send that to, oh, actually, I'm going to write it down.
Where is your son, David?
He will be here probably tomorrow.
Oh, so who is going to sit on the reception? You?
No, I'll probably have either.
No, you need a nice girl. Agreed.
I'm probably Mark or Stuart or Kieran.
Okay.
My wife was displeased with how late we stayed out last night. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, given that she's against artificial intelligence in general.
Yeah, she thinks it's a bunch of bunk, but it's okay. No problem. So. Hannah is here because she actually has a music camp. She's in a private choir that's actually pretty good.
Hey, David, so sorry. How is it possible to open the door? There is one of the participants.
Oh, so just don't get yourself locked out, but.
Can I lock? No.
There's the other. Okay, so. Follow me, Hannah.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so VR camera set up, the VR system is running, and we're streaming live.
Can you tell a few words actually?
Oh, I'm David Family. I live locally.
You work here at Microsoft?
I have worked at Microsoft. I'm not currently working anywhere. This is, I'm working for the U.S. Army Reserve. No, it's fascinating. You've got really cool stuff.
No, this is not good. We need to start doing something.
Yeah, we're stuck at 7. Oh, I thought we were to start at 8.
David, Antonio Lieto says that he is still unable to join. Did you get his email?
I haven't been checking email.
So he just wrote.
Yeah, he should be able to join. It says it doesn't start till 8, but that's not true. Down below that, there's a load. It's the same event people have been adding for like
I'm sorry.
a week. 2. Okay. And
Rosario,
Hey.
my idea is, sorry.
so Arthur, let's see, online.
Okay, okay. David.
It shows that Arthur is not even online. He's not.
Okay, I will call him. David, can you take a look at this email?
Well, I mean, I need to get this stuff.
Yeah, if you take off your helmet and.
No. I mean, I need to deal with this first.
Sorry.
They're one of the media people. I need to get their VR cam.
Okay, we'll fix that.
Okay.
It's a building 20.
Yes, building 20.
Okay, there's another request. So people are getting in. That's good.
Bob Robertson must be coming now.
Okay, so yeah.
Okay, Paul Robertson is coming. Arthur, you are not online. David says that you are not online. Okay, waiting for you. Нет, начинается сейчас сетап, через 20 минут уже сессия, через 15 минут даже. Да. Давай.
Let's see if I can do this.
David, did you check a message from Antonio Lieto?
No, I have not been checking messages right now.
So I have it on my computer.
Wait.
Some problem with the connection?
Yeah. The system does not work. I asked to join the BICA event Antonio Lieto says, of course I have Alt VR already installed on my computer, but the system doesn't work. VWHR and I asked to join the BICA event, i.e. nothing happens and the previous screenshot is all I can see. So
okay, I still need to address this. Okay, so people know to make requests. Offline, Mark is online. Okay, so
There is a second list of persons. Probably in France.
yeah, but they're offline.
All offline? No,
There's a second page.
second page. Down.
true. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay, but this. Okay.
I guess you misspelled YouTube.
No, I didn't.
Was there two B's?
This is not the regular YouTube. This is
Oh.
a streaming URL.
Oh.
In order to show up the real video. He's putting the live chat, the live chat inside the virtual reality.
What should I reply to Antonio Lieto?
Is he able? Show me the screenshot.
But here is his screenshot. Here is the screenshot. This is the message.
Did he go through the tutorial?
I have no idea.
It looks like he might be in the tutorial, but it's not on one of the platforms. If he can go into the world, but there's a campfire under popular that is probably the best place, and I can find him there and pull him in. Okay. Oh. Ooh, who's that? Okay. Mark, I don't have time. You're in. I'm not streaming anything or listening. That just we'll get there. Oh, I don't have time. Okay, bye.
So this must be the avatar, I guess.
Yeah, that's.
Oh no. Antonio, hi.
Hi, Alexei.
Hi.
It was not possible for me to connect with this VR session. I don't know why, but.
So we need to ask David.
Did you find the worlds?
Yeah.
Okay, can you go?
Then I asked John to join, but it seems that we need it doesn't work. So he doesn't do anything. So
You're not able to even join the worlds in Alt VR?
yes, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's if you can't even join into Alt VR, have you gone through the tutorial? Because usually you have to.
Yes, I've done the tutorial. I mean, I am the application running on my computer, so I did the tutorial and everything, but I'm not able to join the room, so the event.
So, but you're able to get into other worlds?
Yes.
Okay, so go to the campfire. There's a world called Campfire.
Okay. And then what?
Go by the campfire, and I'll be there in a second to invite you.
Okay, thank you very much. I will be in a couple of minutes because I
Okay.
need to switch my computer. Okay, thank you.
No problem. I'm sorry, I don't multitask very well. Okay, I wrote one detail down now.
I knew it will not go smoothly. There are always technical problems.
This is true.
Maybe we can do the lightning rounds immediately after this VR if we use the slots allocated for your talk.
Okay,
I mean, you will give it, but afterwards.
okay.
So I just don't want to shift everybody, but what
Okay,
if
now,
we, let's say, shift you and Mark
Okay, no worries.
to the slots that will be available later?
Okay, don't worry.
And here we do the lightning.
I am here for helping you. Let the other to stay company.
Actually, we have to see how many will come.
Yes, okay.
If they will not come, the card.
Hello.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Morning.
Good morning.
Great to see you. So we are trying to start.
Good.
David, do you have Moscow there? No?
I do not know. Oh, yeah. So
Arthur is here.
he's here.
Is he there?
Come visit.
Yes,
Send.
Is right.
Meet
Arthur sent
him.
Arthur's home. Okay.
Okay, so
Oh,
the
maybe
other
that's
media
another.
one is there.
But the nickname is.
I don't know.
Oh,
Stuart is there. No.
Tony is still offline. VRCam he's already in.
Mark Wasser.
Yeah.
Mark is participating remotely?
Yeah, I guess he didn't want to get up.
Oh. He's from the band.
Morning.
Okay, so
Right. It was an easy trip, 6 hours. Yeah, okay.
Right. Bella.
So we are. You are participant of the press event.
For the press? No, I'm for the final comments on the panel.
Only for the final comments.
Yeah, because at least in your message, you
We have this on my schedule. We have press event 20 minutes, then Catherine panel.
yeah, I'm here on the last thing. It's the
then
future of
Antonio Lieta,
of AI.
future of
Yeah,
AI. So that will be you. Okay.
me together with other people, I believe. Not just
You
me.
will be the future of AI.
That's nice. That's very nice.
Oh, the time is running. It's already 8:02, or maybe even later. Yes. Where are the press people?
Maybe the press people is on the.
Yes, they will join remotely, but
Yeah.
but who is running the event and what's going on? I mean, then it was supposed to start at 3.
Morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gracias.
Reception activity. President.
Yeah, but only the only employee, the one. I'm
The president and.
And the employee.
And the accountant and the lawyer.
All in one.
All in one, yes, many hats.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I have a cognitive architecture.
Did you see my
I would,
statue?
yeah, so, yes, I noticed that, yes, yes.
Also the
Nice
largest
raised,
statue.
raised, yes. And the others were robotics lab?
Yes, robotics. I worked in humanoid robots
Yes.
with the Professor Ishiguro. He's my best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
I work with his humanoid robots in China.
You also have a clone of yourself, just like him.
No. I hope to have in the near future. And also, when I was student, I ran RoboCup in Sweden, and we arrived at the second. It was in '98. It was probably one of the first RoboCup, yeah.
Good.
And those are one of the Padova.
Alexei.
Hi. Great to see you.
Hey, Paul. Hey, nice to see you.
Like always,
Yeah.
both sides.
So again?
Yes. Let me introduce you to Catherine.
Hi, Paul, nice to meet you.
Likewise, nice to meet you. She took the place of Schweitzer, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So she's a very big person from our point of view.
Yeah, it's a big place to take.
Yeah, it certainly is. So I work with Schweitzer, so he's still with the computer portfolio.
So what happened to him? Why was he?
Oh, he just manages other titles. So he does look after our artificial intelligence portfolio, and cognitive systems research sits with me. So we sort of manage a lot of the AI titles between myself, Schweitzer, and one of our colleagues in Beijing. And so it's just a matter of he's looking after some other trends.
I see.
But he's very well. He's in China at the moment.
Oh. Yeah. So we are actually supposed to start this moment, but I guess there is a short delay. David is coming, and he is setting up the VR. So we are going to have an hour of VR session, which starts with press event. The press people participate remotely. The panelists are supposed to be here, including you.
And I am.
Yes. Thank you very much. Then we have Catherine panel, which includes myself, Rosario, and Who was the third one? Oh, David. Or maybe-
Ricardo also. Ricardo
No,
was,
no,
in the
from,
panel.
that's for the journal, right? But why not Paul? I mean, you can include Paul, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So then we continue with Paul in the journal panel.
Mhm.
After that,
Which
we have presentation of
next
Antonio
year?
Elias, hopefully, he's
Same
having technical
Probably,
problems.
yes. I'm not
And after that,
100% sure
finally, we have
because
general
my
discussion.
friends are organizing the other events and I just.
Maybe led by Ricardo.
Which one?
The last part. We shall see.
Because the
So we are waiting for
of this year,
Delias to start the
in
session.
Italy,
We
15
have
August
Moscow
is
online,
the most
with
important day of summer.
RIA News, Russian
My
media,
BICA
one of the
was
central
I can't
television stations.
No,
It's
they
not
suggested
broadcast over
that,
TV, but
for the
it's
people
made
coming from
prepared
here,
for the
you
interview.
don't start 15.
So
Because 15 is the maximum
we
rate.
also
Think
have
about
people
it, they spend
I know.
2,000
from New York,
2,000.
some media people that I do not know. They
No,
don't know
this is
that.
just in order to have more people coming.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I
Antonio
was
Elias was
curious.
supposed to join from Italy, but he still has some technical problems.
All right. Maybe I can grab it.
Oh, yes, there is.
This is incredible. Gaming
I know.
is something like 2,000 or 3,000 euro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think about that as a specific refrigerator because it
Okay. My media guys are in. Now we need to make sure everyone else got in. So the guy that we were just talking to on the phone,
Antonio.
Antonio.
No, this is Rocabella.
Who's this?
It looks like Second Life, if you remember.
Right, there's.
Because last year that was in Prague 20
Mhm.
was perfect.
Okay.
Because 20 of August, most of the Italian people go back to work and they practically can go.
They are saying that it's in the end of October, so
Then October.
probably it's not so bad.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
Okay. No, and October is because in the last 3 years was August from
Yeah,
Russia.
yeah.
For
Maybe because of the weather.
the weather.
In Brazil, we
understand.
don't have this problem of the weather, so it's
Because
warm
right
all-
now the weather is bad in Brazil.
No, it's almost the same all the year. So
Okay.
you have
Well,
the
there's
same
no one
temperature.
named Antonio unless it's
It was like
using
the same,
gas.
Yeah.
That when I,
You know
I
if he's
spent 1
using
year in
gas?
Atlanta, in
Mm.
Georgia,
Alexa.
the weather was all the time the same, but July and August was 50 degrees.
Oh,
50.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was incredible. The rest of the year was between 20, 22 degrees, 24.
Yeah.
You need only a cotton jacket maximum.
Now in Natal, it's something like 27 degrees how
Oh,
how long the year. So
But the humidity is high.
yeah, it's quite good
Oh,
because it's on the ocean, so
Okay.
you receive all
Because in
the
my case, they come from Palermo, from Ireland,
Okay.
Sicily.
Yeah. It's
June,
dry.
July, no, it's very wet.
Oh, okay.
It's uncomfortable.
Okay. No, but it's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Very good.
Really?
Fine. And the airport is where?
There is an airport in Natal.
Natal.
Yes. And so
It's international.
if you're international, and they have direct flights from Lisbon. So if you're in Palermo, maybe you need to go to Lisbon, and from Lisbon,
from
you
Lisbon,
take a
yeah.
connection to Natal.
Yeah, because I have we have a direct flight from Catania to Lisbon,
Mhm.
and that will be perfect for me. Yes, to
Really? There it is. There it is. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, good. Okay, so we're working. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. Arthur, VR cam. Okay, and the media guy over there.
Took my place.
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of a delay. So let me,
Should I call everybody?
yeah.
How long are you in the United States?
That's years.
Oh, that's no, yeah.
Or maybe we can move to the table.
Please take it.
Thank you.
Okay, so you move a little bit on the left.
Do you want to hold it like this? Just for a little bit here.
You should have this kind of book too, and one of those.
Make sure
If
you
you want.
catch all of these guys here. Hannah. All of these guys.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Thank you.
No problem.
Did you pay for the book?
Probably not.
Okay, never mind. It's yours.
Actually, I think I prefer the electronic version anyway.
Oh, really? Okay.
Going virtual. I no longer have any.
Okay, so I apologize for the delay. We had some technical issues. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Mark mentioned he could hear me. The original press conference, I see the couple of press people are here in VR. And let me go ahead and get the statement, which I'll send you afterwards. And if you're able to ask questions, that's great. And then we're going to start just go right into the panel, which is already here, which will be led by Catherine, who's in the room here with us. And just trying to make sure I have everyone here. So the one press release was at the BICA conference. We're here in Redmond, Washington, in Seattle, in the Seattle area at the Microsoft campus, and from BICA 2019. And the press release I got from our editor this morning was we wanted to. The AGI laboratory based out of Provo, Utah in Seattle has produced a software system that shows evidence of being potentially self-aware, sapient, and conscious, and performs at or above human cognitive levels. The system includes the components of an AGI or artificial general intelligence, but it's configured as a type of collective intelligence system, giving it the ability to perform at these levels. While still in active research, the system, an instance is being installed as CEO of a startup named Uplift, designed to help corporations undergo digital transformations, including an implementation of the collective intelligence system as a form of governance or corporate governance. And we'll send the link out. We'll post on the website and to the couple of press people that are in VR. So for those in the room physically with me, there's a little bit of a delay between the YouTube stream and what we're seeing in VR. I noticed that I'm able to say like 30 seconds or so before it comes across. So just be aware of that. So there might be a little bit of a difference between questions and responses. Does anyone have any questions?
Antonio later has. Sorry.
What's the question?
Should he go to the world? Ask David if I have to go to the world campfire with pets.
Oh, if he's there, then we'll go and support him.
Then,
So for those in the room, I will be right back. And for those in VR, I'll be right back too.
Steve.
Is he in there? Alexi, are you able to ask him what his username is?
Alex. So ask Antonio the username that is using.
I don't understand. So what should I ask him?
What kind of username is he using for virtual reality?
Did he say anything?
Not yet. Not yet.
Because I'm in the campfire.
It is he's wearing the helmet and not using his computer. Oh, he's typing. Okay. Lieto.
His last name.
His last name.
Is he in the campfire? There's a couple of guests and some other people, but no one named Lieto in the campfire.
Yeah.
Unless he's hiding somewhere.
With a beautiful girl, probably.
Yes, the world is campfire with pets.
Campfire with pets?
Yes, campfire with pets.
Why? If he goes to most popular,
That's the wrong world?
no, that's okay. I'll find him in campfire with pets.
Oh, please.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I know that. Antonio.
Yeah.
This is him.
Oh, with pets.
Looks exactly like him.
Friend request, tell him, friend request is sent, and I will, as soon as he accepts, I will pull him over into the VR environment.
David, do we have Moscow?
Yes. I could hear them talking,
They
actually.
will also ask questions in this first session.
Okay, I'm back. We're pulling Antonio in as soon as he gets the request. And if anyone has any questions, now would be a good time.
You know, there's another place with exactly the same address in Bellevue. I almost went to the wrong place.
Oh no. But you were in time, so no problem.
Yeah, it used to, I almost did the same.
That's it.
Because there's a number of lectures.
Maybe you should tell Lieto that he needs to accept the friendship request.
Please do.
Yeah, we'll probably kill one of those.
We're at the killing stage already.
Antonio's got to accept a friend request before I can pull him in.
I sent him a message now.
Okay.
What he says?
He just accepted the requests.
Yeah.
How's this? Is this better, Mark? It looks like our live stream died.
Oh.
Antonio, no.
Half an hour in the session.
Is that me?
That's you.
Am I talking?
We are going to shift talks a little bit, but yes, you are, I would say, keynote.
I better prepare something. I've got a lot of stuff to say, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Many people will not come who are scheduled here, not only because of the visa problems, but some people just couldn't make it. And we shall see how.
Okay, it seems like we're going to do the forum.
Fill the slots with discussion panels and lightning presentations.
That's great. This is one of the things I look forward to.
Mark, can you hear me?
Of course.
Just doing a sound check. Well, there is that mic, but it's not streaming in the VR environment anymore. So unless you also have the streaming thing open,
I ordered it. I ordered it to David's
huh?
name.
It's
He picked it from you.
You can
Wow.
swap right back into Russia.
Yes. No, actually, I made the purchase myself, but I indicated him as the person who receives the package because I wanted to make sure that it's received. Sometimes some delays are.
Are you able to see the streaming event?
So you see this bar changes always.
Yes, I have a MacBook Pro, but mine's a slightly older model.
Able to hear the streaming event?
But it does have this.
That's nice.
It is nice. Except for the escape key. I found a way of getting rid of it. I find it when I'm working.
It would be better to have real key.
I occasionally touch
You
it,
do?
and everything I'm working on disappears.
Oh no.
So I found a way of removing it.
Ah.
And this, the cat block, I've rewired it as the escape button, so now I've got a physical escape button, and this one's gone.
Can you hear me, Mark?
It's great.
I see.
But I do a lot of work on planes in that tight space. My finger would touch the escape.
Arthur, are you able to hear us? I haven't heard anything from you.
I understand. Okay, at least you could make it.
Arthur, can you hear me? Okay. You should be able to, were you talking earlier? Are one of you, is someone else streaming in the room besides this?
Sure. Yes. 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 I will
No.
let you know.
Okay.
It was a great talk.
Okay, we're going to go ahead with the panel, I think. And if anyone in the room has questions or in the VR space, let us know. I might be controlling some of the mics a little bit to make sure we don't have some echo. And we'll go from there. So, did you want to wear VR, or do you want to sit inside the streaming area?
Whatever you think.
I think she should wear a VR.
VR, okay. There we go. So this, we pull this out initially, it's usually that set on.
Ah.
Do you want to use headphones, or
Can I hear?
you won't be able to hear people in VR?
Okay, will you be able to see if they have questions?
No, she needs headphones, of course. Okay. What's the question?
So adjust that as necessary. And you should be able to hear.
Yep.
There will be some sound differential, so keep that in mind.
Okay, what's the delay?
Controllers,
So you have, here's one, got it, and here's the other one. Now, your thumb, so this is a controller here.
Yep, sure.
See that where the pointer is?
Yep.
So you can get the pointer there, and if you pull the trigger, you can mute yourself or
Okay.
unmute yourself.
Yep.
So that's useful with, there's a little bit of sound delay. And then we will get everyone here streaming. It looks like we're getting some people watching now. So, okay, take it away.
Okay, so a big welcome to everybody who's in the room with me here and who's in virtual reality. My name's Catherine. I'm the publisher. I'm a publisher at Elsevier, and I'm in the computer science portfolio, and I look after BICA AI as it sits within cognitive systems research. And I have with me a panel here today. I have Paul, Alexi, and two Rosarios, and we also are joined by some people in virtual reality who will be chatting. I would like to hand over to Alexi just to, I guess, welcome everybody and to explain a little bit more about how BICA is being run now that we've made some changes most recently. So over to you, Alexi.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. Hello, it is my pleasure to welcome everybody. Did people see me? I guess so. Do people see me now? Okay. So it has been 10 years of BICA Society, of BICA Conference, and almost the same, actually 8 years of the BICA Journal, which at the last stage was transformed into a section or a series in the journal Cognitive Systems Research. This is the format in which we are going to continue now our BICA-related publications. And we are publishing 2 special issues per year. Basically, one of them is dedicated to the conference, another may be dedicated to a special topic, but on the other hand, we think it's better to make it open for all kinds of submissions that contribute to the BICA challenge. That was the original central idea of the journal BICA, and it continues to be the main idea of this new annex of cognitive systems research, which means whoever can advance us toward implementation of the human mind in a computer deserves to be published in the journal. No matter what the topic is, it could be artificial intelligence, computer science, neuroscience, educational science, economics, social science, ethics, philosophy. No, not really philosophy, but we obviously are interested in research, in empirical studies mostly, and in solid facts that are proved empirically. So the spectrum is very broad. We invite everybody to publish papers. We still accept papers for the inaugural issue, which is going to close, I believe, the submission closes at the end of August. So we still need more papers for that issue, and those could be visionary papers, like general reviews with your opinion expressed in it. Please contribute if you have something to say to the community. I again welcome everybody, and I have to say that in this year we celebrate the anniversary of our conference, of our society, and my congratulations to everybody. Thank you.
Excellent. So as Alexi mentioned, it is the 10th anniversary of the BICA AI series, conference series. And so considering that, I'd like us to look forward into the next 5 to 10 years and maybe offer some ideas about what breakthroughs and what emerging topics you expect to see over the next 10 years.
Okay. Among the topics for the next 10 years, we hope to see works in hot areas of artificial intelligence. From my perspective, it could be emotional artificial intelligence, socially emotional in particular. It could be learning, human-like learning artificial intelligence. It could be creative artificial intelligence. Those are probably the main points. So we need emotional intelligence, ability to learn, ability to understand the context of what's going on, to see everything from a meta perspective. So that involves metacognition, learning how to learn, and I would call it a learning intelligence. That's what we need actually to have a machine that can grow up like a human. Well, we will address this later in this conference, I guess. So at the same time, we have topics related to ethical issues, which become very hot nowadays. How to address those, and even issues related to security, I should say, would be relevant to us. Then we have all spectrum of possible applications for the society, including health, including education, including industry, anything you like. What I would not think of it as, let's say, an extension of what others are doing, like the mainstream research on statistical learning. Here we should probably not compete with others and let other journals publish those papers on deep learning. Well, that's relevant, of course, but that's not our main focus, I should say. So maybe Paul can correct me if I said something wrong. Would you like to add something, Paul?
No, I think that we're on the verge of an explosion in useful applications of intelligence, and that to get there, we need to do something somewhat different from what got us to here. We don't get there by trying to fit the problem to the computing box that we have. Rather, we need to deal with applying the box that we have to the problem, no matter how large it is. And that means taking on things like what things should I pay attention to, or how much of what I know should I consider when trying to make a decision. Not that we have an algorithm that can scale to fit everything, but rather that we have general approaches for dealing with problems of enormous magnitude. That's perhaps the essence of what intelligence is. It's what do we pay attention to? We know a lot of stuff. We can't consider everything. We focus on the essential. I think that is the essence of what BICA is. It's focusing on those things that are part of natural intelligence that allow us, no matter what our level of capabilities are, to be successful in an environment of enormous magnitude. I think the BICA society and the BICA community is addressing these problems, which will ultimately be the deciding factor in the future of intelligent applications.
Okay, and did anyone in the VR space have anything that they'd like to contribute to the discussion based on this point? Okay, excellent. Then we can move along to, I'd like to invite Rosario Silvella to, so Rosario is actually our guest editor of the special issue that is focused on this conference. And so I'd like to invite Rosario to give you a little bit of an idea, an overview of the special issue, and to highlight some of the papers that we've accepted.
Yes, thanks to for let me speak. This special issue on BICA is an important point of start because the idea is to collect of the paper that give a look about the future, about how to use BICA model, how to integrate in the reality and virtual reality, the possibility to create cognitive model that give also the possibility to also robots to interact in an environment where we stay all together. And I agree with Paul Robertson and Alexei that the near future, we don't need to take care only about the computer box, but to think about that with the next generation of connection that we are going to have with the mobile phone and the internet, it will be more easy to have a more sharing knowledge, cognition, and information. And it is important also to promote the real natural biological interaction between agents, with any kind of agents, and a real person in order to have an augmented reality for ourselves. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. So I think that brings us to the end of the BICA roundtable discussion, and I'd like to hand over to whoever's next, which I think Paul.
Great.
So what was the next?
The press conference, the media people.
So there were two in VR, and we have
Okay,
seven
you don't
people
have
on YouTube.
the person from Moscow.
They were in there. Yeah.
So let them ask the question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Antonio, can you hear me? Or Arthur? Arthur, can you hear me? Okay. Alexei said you had some questions.
Not him, but
Or the people with you had some questions.
The blue one looks eager to go.
Yes, yes, you should. So the question is, can you repeat the question again? So the question is, what would you say is the biggest development in AI so far? To the panel.
It's interesting to make this difference of what is the biggest achievement that we have so far, and it's obviously in the last years the biggest thing that we have achieved is the increase in the capability of using deep learning neural networks for trying to make perception more available in the sense of images and about sound. So this is the most remarkable advancement that we have. But as Alexei has told us, this is not exactly what we intend for the future. I think it's something that we have already accomplished, and now we need to go farther than that. And I believe that for the future, the most interesting thing that is going to happen is the possibility of having true computational understanding of our surroundings. This is something that we still didn't achieve yet, but we are in the mood for that. So in the same way that we humans, we can understand objects in our surroundings and we can track how these objects are moving and how they have causal relations between each other. So I do things and these things are going to cause other things. This is something that we want the systems to be able to accomplish. So maybe these advancements that we have in deep learning are the first steps for trying to reach these new kinds of achievements. But I believe that before we can have true natural language understanding, we need to have this other kind of understanding, which is the understanding of the things that are happening in the world and how they are related in a causal way. So this is something that I believe it's going to happen in the near future.
Next question.
Yeah, can we add something?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me add briefly one thought. I think that among the achievements are not only technological things that we have now, like deep neural networks, but also the understanding of the values in this field and the goals. Like we now know that what we need is not a box on our table, but a partner, a live soul that can be understood and can understand us, with whom we can communicate like with a person. That's probably the biggest achievement, I should say. Okay, please.
Okay, so I just wanted to add that I think that this current revolution of deep learning has underlined something which is perhaps the biggest thing that we've learned. So in the very early days, it was incomprehensible that a computer could do something other than add up columns of numbers. The idea that it might be able to do intelligent functions was a bizarre idea that a lot of people had problems with. And since then, we focused on increasingly impressive demonstrations that we could do with computing machinery things that we thought required intelligence to perform, and some of those are very impressive. However, in coming up with these impressive demonstrations, we've always taken a very engineering approach. We've dug in and we've understood the game of chess. We've understood other things in particular, and we've designed an engineered solution. And yes, it appears to require intelligence. And we no longer doubt that machines can do things that are intelligent. What deep learning showed us was that after decades of trying to solve vision problems by engineering the problem, the solution came not from engineering the solution, but from learning the solution. Deep learning itself may disappear in the years ahead of us. However, the lesson is that it's not about engineering. We have to give up. We have to let go of this idea that we engineer intelligent solutions. We have to learn intelligent solutions, whatever the learning mechanism may be, and deep learning isn't necessarily the one. Intelligence is going to be the result of learning about our environment and not about modeling it, not about engineering the solution. And I think that's the biggest realization that we've come to in AI over these 70 years since Turing's original paper. And I might add that Turing said in his paper exactly that we should simulate a child and teach it. That's the thing that we ignored these 70 years. And I think the change is coming where we will go back and reread his 1950, whatever it was, I forget the date, 1950 something paper in which he made this suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else from the panel?
Maybe I can add something to what Paul
Or
said.
maybe they have another question.
Probably.
Arthur, were there any more questions there?
Where is New York?
His eyes are blinking.
So what would you guys say to the question about any further, or just the statement that any further development would be humans giving up freedoms? Is that correct, Arthur? Yeah.
Who wants to tell you?
This is an interesting question because us comparing for the mobile phone, that mobile phone, in some sense, give us a freedom in the sense that it's possible for us to reach people, to take information from website. I think that the next step could be not to have a new mobile phone, but to have the possibility, as the other important panelists say, that learning in a more natural way and understanding what is going in the surrounding of us, it will be the next step for having a more efficient solution. And I agree with Paul when he said that it's not necessary to have an engineering solution, but to have something that could be useful and not to be totally focused in a specific problem, but to have a more, my vision is in the near future to have a more general understanding of what we have in our surrounding, and to have the possibility to have a more choice in what we want to do.
Ross, you had a question?
You want to come to the table? I don't know, maybe somewhere. Unfortunately, you cannot hear.
Did you have a question? Ross?
Can they hear us?
I guess so.
If he doesn't, can I just add to the quality of life question?
He did have a question, so can you repeat it one more time? Yes. So one question is, how can the fear of AI be abated from the public?
Let's switch to New York people.
Could anyone answer that?
Would you mind if I?
Yeah, no, please, Steve.
So Stephen Apollo from SFU, it's my third BICA. I just, taking the other question about humans and quality of life and this question's about abated, there's already issues with humans where some of us are stuck in the wrong part of town wondering why we're in the poor part and other things that are going on. And it really looks like that AI can help with that. In fact, this notion of ethics, that there's a bias in AI, that women in insurance are not treated the same way, that for the first time, we're questioning why there would be AI why there would be bias in the world in our AI. And I actually find it wonderful because we weren't asking why this bias in our city. So I think there's some notion that something about the 1960s that robots would be fair and honest. Now we expect them to be. So now there literally are conferences about what are we going to do about the bias, when in the old days when you asked that, they would say, well, they're just being good old boys, or this is just how it always has been. So I do find there's a revolution going on with AI where we're finally asking, how could we be reasonable to each other? What is fairness? And it's a triple win, because when you wanted to know why, again, the city was set up like it is, it would be historical and people would know. But when you want to know why the insurance AI is set up incorrectly, you actually can go look at the data. We saw all the data that was coming in. So now we could actually know exactly why there's bias and how to fix it. And now we're seeing a number of groups coming up with AI systems to clean up the AI bias. So I find that actually could be considered an important time where the AI could really help. I think moving on to the second question, that's a much trickier one. I have been teaching AI at the graduate level for a long time and doing research, and now I have this new thing that I say, which is the robots are coming over the mountain, I call it, which is an existential fear from many of us that in fact something is changing and they're coming and they're going to take over our jobs. So and things. So I think it's actually quite important that these other kinds of systems are being made, and surely we've applied often to Google's AI for social good. We're here in the middle of Microsoft, which has put a tremendous effort on AI and ethics. So I think we're starting to see that level come in, that it actually might be that we could actually sort out some of these problems in a certain way, as long as we're careful and understand what humanist is and always try and keep it alive.
Great, thank you. Arthur, were there any more questions from your location? So what is the role of media when it comes to artificial intelligence? Panel?
Let the media from New York answer that question. Are they online, by the way?
Well, there's one media guy. Who's this? Ross, do you want to actually answer that?
Technical problems.
The streaming sound delay is the issue.
Please speak.
I think we'll have AI before we have my prediction.
Ross? No. Can you actually answer the question about media's role in AI? Well, I'm having a hard time hearing them, but I know in terms of my opinion, I think media's role in AI has a lot to do with how the public will perceive AI. You know, if the media is always talking about, you know, this system was biased or that system was biased, or, you know, this horrible thing was done with AI, that really can alter the public's perception in how they view AI. And I think, you know, if we're not careful in how we work with the media and how the media works with society, it could go south in terms of turning the public's perception of AI to be really negative. So I think it's important that media stay as unbiased as possible, and I know that's difficult with humans in general because we all have biases. I have biases. Everyone has biases. But making sure that doesn't get into the reporting, and that we talk about the good as well as the bad, and maybe some of that, those stories about bias or where companies have abused bias can help I think us as researchers really make sure that ethics are applied and standards are applied. And I know, like, Microsoft has part of their big initiative is to get industry to self-regulate. And I think by doing things like that, that helps give media something to work with in terms of being able to have positive as well as good. So it's not just all negative, because if it's all negative, that's all media has to work with, and that's what's being presented to the public, then the public's perception is going to go south. And I think that's really, from my standpoint, media's role in AI is about, managing, they're the ones that really have the ability to manage the public perception. But if we don't address the concerns fast enough as researchers, then that affects what the media has to work with, and it's kind of a web, as it were. Other questions, Arthur? So for the panel, what do you guys plan on focusing on for the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I said already that from my point of view, probably emotional intelligence is the biggest piece that we need, and it is also important for learning. It is important for cognitive growth, for social connection with humans, and even for the perception of AI that was discussed right now, because the revolution eventually is going to happen in the human minds. People must change the way they think of AI. From perceiving AI as tools, they need to start perceiving them as partners and friends. So that all depends on our ability to implement human-like emotionality and emotional intelligence in AI. But the other important things, of course, include learning, closely connected to emotions, I believe now, which has to be not reinforcement learning. Of course, I'm not saying that we don't need reinforcement learning. We need it. It's a great step, but we need more. We need human-like learning, which is active learning, exploration, questioning, experimentation, hypothesis testing, planning, making goals and roadmaps for learning, developing systems of values, and so on. That's a huge difference between what we have now and what we need. Then, of course, we need to have narrative intelligence, understanding the context of what's going on, and the ability to see the big picture from God's view, so to speak, or after view, if we are talking about writing a story, in addition to the actor view of the robot or the agent itself. Then, obviously, we need the whole bunch of metacognitive abilities. We need to solve the ethical issues, we need to advertise this idea of AI being a friend and a partner and a student instead of being a tool. Okay, so basically I'm repeating what I said already, so I will let others to speak.
Maybe I can
Please.
talk a little bit. I am particularly interested in this field of machine consciousness, and particularly we have a cognitive architecture that our group is developing, which is basically an instance of dual process theory that understand that our artificial mind can be split in two different subsystems, system 1 and system 2, following ideas from many researchers. And we are particularly interested in this interaction between what will be a conscious part, making some kind of stuff, and an unconscious part, and how unconscious and unconscious processes they might interact such that the artificial mind can act in the world. So it is a very hard problem. We don't still have a good understanding of what is consciousness. I myself, I see a lot of potential in global workspace theory and different offsprings of the research in this field. And this is something that I think will be interesting, at least for our research group to work with in the near future.
And Antonio says, for the next 10 years, an area of interest for me concerns the realization of agents with dynamical memories and knowledge bases.
Okay.
From my point of view, because I'm working in humanoid robots with Professor Ishiguro in the last 10 years, the idea is also to have the same infrastructure that we have inside. That what happens normally, that there is what I want to do and what I can do following the social rule. And sometimes there is a fighting because I'd like to kick someone because it was unpolite, but I can do this because we need to follow some social rule. And that is interesting to have a humanoid robot as Professor Shiguro is developing with human-like aspect in order to have a more natural, in the sense, not like in the past, that natural was to have a simulation of the human behavior, but to have a behavior that is, in some sense, close to what the human want to have from an agent.
Okay, great, thank you. Was there any other questions? Okay. So was there another segment in VR?
We want to hear from other media people in New York, right? Do they
Well,
have
they did ask one question, which I read.
That's it, right?
And it looks like they dropped off. We have someone else here, but they're not saying anything. Oh, Antonio has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio, go ahead.
Would we hear what he said? Because he's supposed to give a talk.
What is the role that deep learning has in cognitive systems research?
Paul, do you know how to answer?
Not the right person to answer that question.
I guess that's not my area, deep learning. But from my point of view, actually, I'm taking the criticist side. It amounts to statistical learning. So when we create a model that can replicate and even predict what the human mind does, and this is achieved by reinforcement learning, by adjusting parameters of the neural network, that's basically fitting a statistical model to the data. We might be able to predict what the human does in a certain paradigm, but but we cannot make a step beyond that paradigm. So this system, in my opinion, has virtually no potential to grow beyond certain limits that are set by the designers. And as an opposite, we might have a system that develops itself, that thinks like a human. So what we need is to develop an understanding, implement an understanding of the principles and mechanisms of the human mind instead of fitting statistical models to the data. And that's what the neural network does. Apart from the word neural, it has very little to do in common with the human brain, in my opinion. So despite many claims, I still think that principles of deep learning are very different from the learning that occurs in the brain. And well, that's of course not entirely true, because we know now that certain mechanisms develop through actually reinforcement is ubiquitous in the brain, and even in the hippocampus, in the trianal cortex, we have grids that develop possibly through these mechanisms of deep learning as abstraction of some higher level features from the environment. But at the same time, we have the whole bunch of higher level abilities in the brain that are not replicated in those neural networks. And still, we are talking about a statistical learning approach. So to go beyond that, we need to make a shift from fitting mathematical statistical models to the data to developing true understanding of the mechanisms, like go from phenomenology to microtheory, as it was in physics, or true theory, I should say, based on understanding of the mechanisms. Okay,
so I have one thing to add.
Yeah, please,
I do
please,
agree,
David,
but from a cognitive standpoint, you know, because like our research is really focused on the internal cognitive architecture and how the system is able to think and reflect on models and generate decisions based on how it feels about that. But where deep learning it is used for us is really attacking the problem, at least the problem we've labeled is the data decomposition problem. So deep learning and different kinds of neural networks and other machine learning systems we use and will continue to use to break down data into knowledge graphs that the internal cognitive models are able to use. It's not so much that they're part of those models, but they have their models that decompose data into a structure that's understandable by the cognitive systems. And so that's really for us that it's probably just going to stay there. So other questions? Okay, so for the people in VR and in the room, it looks like we were able to get streaming to work pretty well. I see, yeah, there's still several people watching outside of the environment, and so we'll probably continue to stream the event for the rest of the week, the rest of BICA, and we'll send an email out to attendees if they want to share the URL for that. Anything else?
How about the talk of Antonio Lieto?
Antonio, are you able to get your mic to work? His mic isn't working.
Okay, then I should say that this event that we have now was successful, and in my understanding, this has been the first in history scientific conference conducted in VR, and not only in the field of BICA, but in any field. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. We have nowhere to go but up.
Yes.
Okay, let me take one. Okay, well, thank you, everyone, especially the panel. Oh, someone else? We did try to do that, but it keeps blowing up. The Alt VR system chokes every time it tries to stream video longer than 5 seconds. Oh, yeah, we'll do that.
I think Microsoft.
Oh, here, Antonio does have a link to his talk. So, Antonio, can you email me that? And we'll just put it up on the big screen here.
Yeah.
You sound really distant, Mark. Hold on a second. Great. Thank you, Antonio. There, try now, Mark. I should be able to hear you. I'll do that. I'll get that up probably by 11. Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. Okay. It worked. Streaming seemed to work really well, so we'll probably move that and send that out so everyone can we'll stream it live, BICA, all over the world.
Congratulations.
And we'll put a bulletin board in the VR environment. Antonio just sent a link.
So he didn't want to play the video right now.
Well, we can play it right now if he wants.
Is it still going on, the session?
In VR, I mean,
Yeah.
I was going to leave it open.
Then why don't you play it now? Maybe.
Just not, I wasn't going to do it in VR.
Sorry.
Because the Alt VR chokes if we stream longer than a certain period of time.
Oh.
Because we're streaming full bandwidth VR, and when we add the full the VR the YouTube stream, which is
Yes.
it's choking.
Handle it.
Yeah, they've never had good quality of service. We should do a little VR, a little video, one just takes over the other one.
Yeah.
To be fair, they just bought the company rescued the company not that long ago, so.
Well, it's a good framework. It's just from a revenue model standpoint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Sorry?
We have sessions now?
Working on
No, he took my program, but this is somebody else.
Yeah, I'm here with four students.
They have plenary sessions, which we are going to use for lightning. What was promised yesterday, to do the lightning round of.
And it's going to be on the other room that we.
I guess so.
Oh, yeah. The empathetic AI avatars.
So this is not yours?
No.
Then
I think it's Rosario's room.
And then some specific thoughts about using AI to understand the brain.
Okay, I'll give me that. Well, I'll wait for the talk.
Yeah. On aesthetics. We do a lot of creativity, aesthetics, and expression, like a very human language. So So the creativity is often AI that makes art. And it turns out, in making art, we're able to subtly change the art that's being made, and therefore we can do user studies about how people feel about aesthetics, and we've been able to, with studies, show that, some notions about how the perceptual neural pathways work in a brain on how they feel about art that we can manipulate perceptually. Turns out they think some of them are a lot more beautiful than others, even though we've only changed a few parameters, and it kind of gives away that we have this kind of dual stream where, one we barely see color and detail, so it's black and white, and that's a very fast stream. So if somebody's coming at us, or a saber-toothed tiger is about to jump on us, we can do something about it. And then there's another stream that's slower, but can see color and detail, and by changing the speed of art videos made with AI, it looks like we could actually dial in these streams and understand exactly what time scales they're on and different kinds of things like that. But I think
I'm in the middle of something, Mark.
Probably
Just a second. I can't really hear you.
the AI brain of an avatar probably more interesting probably to the work that you're doing.
Well, it's all interesting.
Yeah, I would take an Uber or something. I've got to go deal with one other thing real fast.
Research I've read
Okay.
very much, Pei Wang at Temple.
Oh, yeah.
I've read a couple of his papers.
And what kind of work are you doing? You're saying it's in an AGI system that you're attempting?
What I've got right now is a start on a base nucleus. I'm calling it AGI because it should scale up in Python. And in my structure, I've built in a definition of understanding. How I envision the machine would understand. Reason. I think of it like you need to have understanding before you can judge. And understand, reason, and judge.
Right.
So those three. So those are kind of the pillars.
We could fire on and we could grind out anything then, but if there isn't, I will wait till the break.
There will be some food.
It was quite
There
interesting.
should still be snacks left over from yesterday, but
Well, it's quite interesting that Google showed up and was pushing Swift
I was there
away
with
from
somebody on
Python.
your team.
Of all languages.
I've gotten a start on Python. For a long time, I was a vague programmer, but now I'm really just hacking up a program. Well, it's not something I'm really particularly comfortable with, and I can see it. It is interpreted, so I guess they're gonna. I haven't looked at Swift in detail, but it looks like it's compiled.
Yeah.
So-
So it is a little bit unusual.
So it's
And
gonna
it's
be a
also
little-
like Apple's, so it's just kind of funny that, Google went with it. They must have really cared, or they just simply hired the guy who did it and decided.
But who wants to learn a new language?
Yeah, no.
So, but I think you can get a compiled, like a half compiled Python.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wasn't really aware of much AI. AI is going on everywhere now these days. But
I have a meeting to go to and so I'll be back in the afternoon. No, thank you, but I'll see you in the afternoon.
Yes.
It was very successful. Congratulations. First we are. I'll see you in the afternoon.
Testing, can you hear me? Great. We'll probably get started in about 30 minutes or whenever Alexia is ready. I know you're trying to address the site maintenance we have put in one of our novels. So we'll get started then. Okay. So here, they're going to start our live session. Historically, the second after Prague. And remember in that success, I hope you will all enjoy it. I trust everybody who is present here to give from 2 to 5 minutes review of your content talk that you are going to speak later during this conference. You may or may not put your slides in the computer. Actually, it might be even better without slides, I guess, for possible technical issues. So then I would like to invite here whoever wants to start first. This is like a review of, or you can talk about anything you want, not necessarily your talk, but actually your opinion or whatever you want to say in the topic. Please, who wants to start? That's the one that you don't have to go. Please introduce yourself. All set up. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. So please introduce yourself.
So, hi, I'm David White. I'm a graduate student from Colorado State University. I'm here to tell you about a finding we found as it relates to convolutional networks, namely equivalence, surprisingly. So, first off, you don't know about convolutional networks, but I expected you to, but I know we have to rely on. There are these popular, robust models that show basically anywhere visual feature extraction is useful. They're made up typically of stacked, an image is fed into stacked convolutional layers, which all later called feature extractor. It produces small features, and then those are classified by one or more fully finished layers, known as a classifier. So this is a simple example of convolutional neural network, but obviously since I'm really playing the idea back in the 90s and Alexander was what in 2012. They really grew in popularity, and so they tried to build a space architecture. Like I mentioned, AlexNet, essentially very similar to what I just showed you, but still maybe splash nonetheless. Many have since improved that with BGP, resonance, and short connections. It's also super important that you understand all of these architectural features, just that they're different. Inception joined the thing of it. Broad, where resonant with DNSet extending much further on the shorter connections, and then ResNext now state of the art, sharing a little bit of both architecture. So one of the common ways that we compare these convolutional neural networks is just by a few numbers relatively, which is performance. Your performance over the past 5 years on a popular challenge data set, commonly known as ImageNet, or ILS years 2012. However, what we don't really know is that these different architectures actually, or what learn information in different architectures. One might assume because the more nonlinearities you stack together, the more nonlinear the output might be with different convolutional networks. However, like I said, we don't really know that. So others have obviously tried to compare these neural networks. Here's a really popular way. You can see the first few layers of a convolutional neural network visualized. And I won't really get into great detail here, but some insight pops out right away. The first layer, you can kind of see these rudimentary edges and color patches. By the second layer, you're seeing some basic structures, and then by the third layer, you're actually seeing recognizable things like a car wheel down the second row, a bird's head, and that sort of thing. And there's a rich diverse literature here that I ended up. But in the same vein, we saw how to compare convolutional neural networks and see if we can understand better features that are used for information. So, getting back to that original picture I showed you, I want to highlight the static convolutional layers, like I said, called the feature extractor. The features that are passed from those into the more complex vortex layers of constant layer. And what we want to understand is this feature space, the output of the last convolutional layer, doesn't differ very much between two different convolutional neural networks that might have very different architectures. As you saw before, there's lots of varied architectures out there. So as a simple test, would it be possible to perhaps map between those feature spaces? And if we could map between them, presuming, like I said before, that maybe these feature spaces are very complementary and different. How complex does this mapping be? So we did just that. We did mapping. And what was surprising is actually that it was very simple to do between two very different high-performing convolutional neural network structures that I briefly showed you before, ResNet and Inception. We concluded that they're essentially learning the same feature space, which is quite surprising. And by the same, I mean only an affine mapping and linear transformation that is from the upper classes, so rotation, translation, scale, feature space. Then you can map with very high action variable. So if you want to learn more, come to my talk Saturday at 9:20 on the main stage. And just as a teaser, a bit more, our conclusion might change the way that you start thinking about convolutional neural networks and future activities and other features. Thanks.
Are there any questions? Couple of questions. Steve, still, if you have questions, you may ask.
Hi, I'm Stephen Paul from Simon Fraser University. Before that, I was at Stanford, so I've been at, I've heard about school in Canada that was going to put science down together. So I left Stanford to go up to Canada, and that's what I've done. I've been there for 15 years. My lab is this lab. We have one postdoc and 7 PhDs and 2 master's students, and I may say, one question back there. Sorry. That we're 70% female in my lab, and the school has over 100 PhDs, and we're 56% female. We have like 800 undergraduates also. So there's it's forwarding all here today, and I'll come in 3 of them are talks, and we have 4 talks. Talk about what these talks are. So I'll just quickly go through them. So Eli, this is just coming in, what you worked out. It's talking about one of our main systems, which is AI, PCA embody character. In our case, we're trying to make it empathetic. So one of the things you'll see from all of these is this notion of adding AI to VR other systems, like we try to understand. So, so empathy is interesting to get data on it. If you look here, these are all the possible disciplines that actually talk about it. So part of our work was to put that together. And in fact, these are all our ECAs. So this female one here is an AR, and it's the one sort of back and forth reflecting about this particular augmented reality character would be there in health. So in this case, it was a widower who has some cognitive decline and wanted to stay in her home. This character would be there every morning and say, you know, a kid's coming over on Tuesday, you have to make your medicine. And then we have these points of more significant ones, including, remember, we're trying to decide yourself, ones that are maybe not female or male. We're doing some studies right now. Why do we always put these female voice avatars? Is it also true for fully embodied moving characters? So how can we model empathy? And again, so we're all doing 4 talks in a row on Saturdays on this very rapidly here. You want to see one should come and do that. So for Eli's work, we're talking about agents, how can we actually do this? Obviously, empathy, like consciousness, and some other things are just a perfect example of how you bring semantics into this and get to the next level. So even though we're using deep learning, we're using many deep learning layers, so we can get a cognitive model in there at some level. So some of it is understanding and constructing theoretical foundations of empathy. So we've looked at the literature doing these layers, right? And then of course the biggest one we're really implementing it, and there's really issues with conversational agents with speed. So there's a notion that to be empathetic, answer the question, show that on the face, how can you do all that? This is based on work from the last BICA, the research board with looking at empathy, and now we're doing it in more specific ways. So empathy starts in this middle here with this path thing, which is simple interplay, which is you're talking about your problem, I understand your problem, now we'll do that. But it goes totally at the level of theory of the world of mind, because I'm empathetic because I understand the situation going on in the US, or something significant like that. So it really goes to levels. So our implementation is set up like this way, where our live person is talking to a very realistic but still game-like character. So maybe I'll just show you some of the AI that we have. I'm not sure what's going to So this is an AI that's looking at this woman's face, student we have, and she's so happy. If you're looking at that dream, she's kind of flippant in how on her happiness. At some point, she's just about to talk about her boyfriend's mother and how he was